that might be it.
Good evening, Council, members of the public. Welcome, and I call to order the Tuesday, July 14th, 2026 regular meeting of Council. First up on the agenda under 2.1 is adoption. Councillor Pearson, Councillor McLean, any additions or deletions? All in favor? Carried. 3.1, adoption of the minutes of the June 23rd, 2026 regular meeting of Council, please. Councillor Mullet, Councillor Pearson, any errors or omissions arising? All in favor? Carried. Administrative report 5.1, looking to Council to approve option blank to govern the elected official travel. Anybody got a motion they'd like to put forward or an option? Councillor Pearson.
I would prefer if we could go to a committee of the whole for a few minutes to have discussion before motions actually.
I like that. Yeah, let's do it. Motion to go to a committee of the whole. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Mullock, any discussion on entering it into a committee of the whole? All in favor? Go. Call to order 1901, committee of the whole for 5.1. Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, and I appreciate the work of the panel. And I do understand the need to be fiscally responsible, but I think there's more to some of this than just the financial side of it, in that there is value to our ability to advocate for our community at these events. And by doing this and limiting us and how many or who can attend, I think really hamstrings us in that ability, one, to advocate for the village of Valemount, and also the learning opportunities when we go to these conferences. We're not just going for the receptions. There's a lot more to it. So I find it somewhat challenging. And I have difficulty with the threat of being penalized if we take our spouse because of an added expense. The room doesn't cost any more when you got two people in it than it does with one. We're not flying because of our location generally, so.
I fly.
You do. So I think there's just some challenges on this, and I'd like to see a little more flexibility. My frustration this year is when I put my name forward to go to NCLGA, I was warned within a week that if I attended that and Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association, I would be over budget for UBCM. That's in February. So that's a little frustrating. So,
Do you have a budget in mind?
not a specific number. I just think we need to look at one, the ability for our spouse, significant other, to travel with us. I don't think we should be forced to carpool. I mean, the next step is we have to share rooms when we go to events. I'm not going there. So I think
I snore. You wouldn't want that.
that's my flexibility. So I'll just put that out there.
Anyone else? Councillor Mullock?
Yeah, I guess I would agree with what Councillor Pearson had mentioned. You know, it's not, this is not a simple situation that we're in. You know, like even the driving and the flying thing. Whenever we go anywhere where there's a potential to have to fly there, of course, we're having to drive, you know, like to the coast. We drive halfway there anyway. to get to an airport. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at all the logistics of that, with the parking fees and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate what the panel did, you know, and I think a lot of the things that or what they mentioned was something that was in the back of our minds anyway, you know, like the sharing of pooling the costs and you know, and some of these options. Sure, they're good ones, but yeah, you know, this is a challenge because of where we live, and it will always be, because we're always going to be looking at either for things like the UBCM coming up, we will be either having to fly or drive, and it will be a combination of things, you know, and we can and we do try and carpool, you know, like NCLGA and some of the others wherever possible. It's but sometimes it does create some logistical challenges because we also have other things going on, and sometimes you can't take off the same time as somebody else, and you know, and of course you're always trying to try and get the best value out of when you're going to these, you know, so you really want to try and get there like we do, try and get there early and stay as long as you possibly can, but getting there early enough so you're not having to do an extra hotel and all that kind of stuff. And I do appreciate what administration does, looking for the best value in prices, because that certainly helps us out, you know, and you know, for some of these venues, for us to have to walk for a little bit, no issues with that, you know, if it makes it doable for us. And I think that's something that we're always going to have to be cognizant of, and that we are, you know, of the value of a value of the dollar and the costs of these things, you know, and it's really interesting in this last couple of years just to see the changes in hotel rates and everything else. You see it in Valemount too, you know, everything has gone up and up and up, and so, you know, trying to see how you can navigate this to make everybody happy is a challenge, and is going to continue to be. So, you know, I mentioned, I think some of the suggestions they have, I can certainly live with. The one thing too, and Councillor Pearson mentioned that, was the spouse thing. I don't think since being on council, I don't think I've ever heard of an incident where there would be a cost that the public purse would take on to pay for one of our spouses. You know, obviously we're going to cover that ourselves if there was a cost, if there's something extra special going on that we want them to participate in. Absolutely, that's going to come out of our own pockets. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah, ever since the disallowance of Airbnbs in urban centers has put the markets right back into the hotelier. And so they control pricing overall. Just one point from me. In 12 years, my spouse has never joined me at a conference, not because of anything other than she doesn't want to. So. Anything, Councillor McLean?
I don't have a lot to add. I certainly wholeheartedly agree with both of these guys. I do see value in this exercise, and thank the panel for their input. Costs have gone up tremendously since we started traveling for council. I mean, I'm going to say they have to have doubled between meal costs, room costs, cost of fuel, that kind of stuff. I like to take my spouse with me just to be part of the group. And as far as I know, he hasn't cost the taxpayers one nickel. And that he stays in the room with me, he rides in the car with me. Different times we've thought about flying, but when logistics make it so you have to get a room in order to fly or leave for Kamloops at 1 o'clock in the morning, it adds up to be about the same. So these are just some of the logistics that, you know, I've noticed over the years, is that the changing costs, and of course the logistics of driving and parking and staying overnight and then flying and trying to get home, this kind of stuff. Carpooling. I get very car sick riding in the back seat of a car. Yeah. We cannot have 3 councillors in a vehicle together because of it would be a quorum. And we've been instructed by Anne regarding that more than once. So there are just things that don't seem to be quite emphasized in this report that maybe should be.
A recommendation coming from the committee then? Table it to next meeting?
I don't know where to go with it. I mean, it is a challenge, and we do have to answer to the citizens of the village, but new people. You know, to sit at this table and be told, you know, you can only pick one event to go to. So, I'm not sure where we go. If I would be willing to table it, but I don't know, I guess, to see what we have for room for discussion. I guess that would be the only thing that would happen in between now and the next meeting.
Well, actual discussion between now and the next meeting would be at the next meeting. That's where discussion happens.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can refer this back to staff, look at it from a budgetary perspective. What does it look like? Councillor McLean mentioned that costs have increased, hotels have gone up, gas has gone up. However, gas is slightly compensated by the CRA's travel allowance of 73 cents now, which is next to nothing. But that's one tire if it goes. Yeah, I would probably make a recommendation for this committee to refer this back to staff with another look. We've got a month till the next meeting. Have another look at what a budget would look like for X amount. I don't think I've been to an NCLGA in like 3 years because I have such a good team that go. Anyways, that would be my recommendation. Councillor Mullock?
Yeah, you know, I guess from my perspective in looking at it, I think we're going to be challenged from here on in, and that's where I did tend to think that the option number 6 has merit to keep things rolling along for the time being, because I think what was just mentioned, you know, the idea that we'll just be talking about it next time, because I really, you know, this is a challenge. This really is, and you know, I think what I'd like to see is possibly go with this number 6 and see how that rolls out. You know, with the opportunity to be able to share. You know, if someone's not going to some of these things, you know, because there are going to be those situations, and I've seen it ever since I've been on council now. You know, that not everybody can go to everything. There are things that I think are very important. You know, for things that were mentioned. You know, just that face-to-face contact. You know, what ministerial meetings and certain things where it's really important for us to have face-to-face consultation with government. To really ascertain whether or not, you know, we'll know whether we're seeing a possibility there, or whether you know we better go after something more doable, you know, in the future.
Well, you'll never hear a yes in a 15-minute FAME meeting.
But you know, I think in reality, you know, from my perspective, with what we've seen, we have enjoyed some great success. That in that the funding that came in through some of our discussions far outweighed the cost of getting there. You know, because that's, and Councillor Pearson mentioned that. You know, we're trying to do things for Valemount, and this is the way. You know, and being remote in the situation that we're in does make it, you know, we're one arm behind our back most of the time. So when we do get that opportunity to to have face-to-face discussions, and we do it consistently, where we're keeping that message from year to year. This is what we need. This is how we suggest we go about getting there. Because that's the one thing that that I have really enjoyed, the fact that when we do go to these meetings, we're actually coming with solutions. We're not coming with, we need help, we need this, we need that. No, this is our issue. This is how we can achieve what we need to achieve. This is how you can help us, and it actually helps everybody in the long run, because we need successes. The rural areas are challenged throughout the province and provinces, so everything that we do, I think, is important in that respect.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson?
Couple more points. I mean, and Councilor Millock kind of nailed it. As I mean, when we go with the group presence, everybody has a different background and different perspective that we can bring to the table. And I mean, excuse me, and you're great about allowing us all to have a voice at the table. So I think that part's important. I think the other thing, I mean, we are hamstrung because all these events are in the Lower Mainland. I mean, if they did UBCM and Kamloops, our expenses are cut in half, right? Unfortunately, their rotation is Vancouver, Victoria, and Whistler. You're never going to get a cheap week on that event. And the other thing to look at is we're not speaking for ourselves. This is for the next council.
Right.
And so if you put new faces at this table, they're hamstrung already if they can't attend, because these are crucial. I mean, I found them so valuable in my first couple of years to be able to network and learn. So I think we have to take that into account. We're not speaking for the group that's sitting here finishing a term.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially could be 4 new faces sitting here.
Mm-hmm. So I take it you don't support the number 6 then as sort of recommended by Councillor Mullock?
You know what, I'm willing to give it a try. I mean, you know, as Councillor Mullock said, that probably would have worked this year because there was some extra budget that wasn't utilized. But what does that look like? Again, I'm speaking for next term. What's that look like when all 4 and the mayor want to go to an event? There's not going to be this extra little kitty to ask from, so.
Enough.
Further discussion? Is there a motion to put a recommendation of number 6 from this committee back to council?
I'd like to try it.
Moved by Councillor Mullock.
I'll second and we'll see if it works.
Second by Councillor Pearson, that this committee recommends to council option number 6 to govern elected official travel. Any further discussion? All in favor? I'll look to adjourn, carried. Look to adjourn the committee of the whole at 19:19. And back to open meeting, 5.1, elected official travel budget. What do you need? Oh, okay. Based on the recommendations from the committee of the whole, looking for council to approve option number 6 to govern elected official travel. Moved by Councillor Mullock, second by Councillor Pearson. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. I did like that discussion. 5.2, Valemount Library Municipal Donation Request. Looking to approve a grant in amount of $735 to Valemount Public Library Organization for the purpose of covering costs for the village tent rental for 1 day. Councillor McLean, Councillor Pearson, discussion. All in favor? It's carried.
One moment, Mr.
Oh, sure.
We're going outside.
Sorry, the recommendation should have been for the tent rental for 2 days, not 1.
Oh, 2 days. Ugh, I don't know.
Same amount,
Same amount, 2 days.
2 days.
Mover and the shaker, okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Discussion on 2 days of rental.
More bang for the buck.
All right, all in favor? It's carried. 6.1, Village of Valemount Building Bylaw number 892, 2024, Amendment Bylaw number 925, 2026. Looking for first, second, and third. Reading, Councillor Mullet, Councillor McLean, discussion. New construction, water meters, anybody? All in favor? Carried. Plethora of options in the reading file to bring to surface. Council, what's your, anything?
List.
Good? Hey, no correspondence for action, notice of motion. Councillor Pearson?
No.
Nothing? Ah, there it is. Let me just continue on to 11.1.
I mean, I could have come up with something new if you want.
Councillor Pearson?
Yeah, just so follow up from previous meeting, looking for support on the motion as read. I expected the mayor to read it, so.
Well, I can.
To install surveillance cameras at Centennial Park.
So to actively pursue the installation of at least 2 security cameras to cover the washrooms in the main section of Centennial Park to act as both a deterrent and recording witness to any act of vandalism or other behavior that reflects negatively on our community. Is there a seconder? Councillor Mullock. Actively pursue would involve a budget, Councillor Pearson, as well? Like coming back with a budget option to change our annual expenditure?
Well, I guess I won't use the word, but predict that there will be some cost involved. The infrastructure is fairly close, so yes, I guess coming back with a budget and the requirements, but that there is some motion in that direction.
The staff, does the spirit of the resolution as read reflect a budgetary return?
I'm going to ask my corporate officer. That sounds more like bringing back a budget for approval or moving forward.
It does. It sounds like that to me as well. So the question would be something minor than the director of finance.
Almost my,
Please.
my apologies. Mayor, almost certainly it would require some budgetary approval from council to move forward. Without that.
Yep, so I mean, when it comes back, you'll have, okay. Good. Because we've already approved a budget. Okay, first, second, any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 12.1, council reports. Councilor Pearson, I hear you had a pretty late.
Well, it was a busy time. The only thing on my calendar, unless I've missed something, which is possible, is joining yourself and Councillor Mullock for cake cutting and festivities at Canada Day at the Valemount Museum.
It was so good.
Yeah, went really well. Love the cupcake idea. Works well up.
It works way better. Councillor McLean?
I have nothing to report this time.
You, Councillor Mullock?
And it would be ditto for me, Councillor Pearson and Mayor Torgerson, with a cake cutting Canada Day, which was, we had all kinds of weather and it worked out pretty well. It worked out pretty well. And I guess next on my hit parade was just a shout out to the Alpenglow like what a weekend that was. I think we were all there cheering on or participating, hitting the marketplace, or seeing some of the awards and that type of thing. You know, I have to say that it was probably one of the most interesting ones for me. The amount of happy faces that I saw over the course of that weekend, and visitors and residents that with all the going on, and it just seemed to be, there was a spark there that I really enjoyed seeing, and of course, new people to the Valemount area, just in amazement of what a beautiful area that we live in. And sometimes it's nice to see it from other people's eyes, just to relive that wonder of seeing all of these type of things, all the things that are available in our backyard here. Yeah. So what a great weekend. And that's it for me.
June 24th, had a VARTA board meeting. June 25th, attended and represented the trust at the Valemount Secondary School awards ceremony. The 26th, had the grade 12 commencement ceremony. Probably told the worst dad joke ever.
I'll give you that.
It was a gooder, wasn't it, Counselor? July 1st, had a great time at the Valemount Museum for the Canada Day celebrations. July 2, attended the premiere by Ranger Films and their documentary, The Second Ascent. It was, they followed Gary and Jeff for a year leading up to the inaugural Alpenglow 100 and put together a 52-minute, absolutely outstanding filmmaking. July 3rd and 4th, took in everything Alpenglow. Also volunteered, drove the community bus on the Sunday following the races for a couple hours. Mm-hmm. And I thought some of the athletes, so they had the main parking out where the worker accommodation facility was for the pipeline. And I really thought some of those athletes were going to pull the grab handles right off the bus, because there wasn't a single one that wasn't limping, straggling, like just trying their best to get up those 2 steps onto the bus. And like, oof, don't break that, please. And the marketplace in partnership with Tourism Valemount, off the charts. The whole downtown celebration was really well done. And then, of course, if anybody saw I was there for the 100, where the first athlete came across the line at 12 hours, 2 minutes. And Gary gives you a hug, puts a medal around your neck, and then sticks a mic in your face. And you're expected to tell them how your day was. And they're cheerful. They're ecstatic. You would have had to carry me off the mountain. Anyhow, just echoing your words, really well done. And then July 6th, had a quarterly meeting with Vicki Rensby about all things local Northern Health Authority. And of course, didn't have one last week, but we had one this week with a weekly check-in with the CIO on Monday. That's it for me. Any questions? Okay. Calendar of events are there for information for July and August 2026. And then under 14.1, we have time for public comments on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda. Any public comments this evening?
Where's that, Jack?
Welcome.
Everybody always looks at me. I don't know how come. Anyway, I just want to say a few things about that.
Before you begin, I just want to thank you for just attending, being part of the gallery.
That's right. The travel budget. I know that's a tough area, and And in 2026, you guys got 30% is what I read through today. And, you know, everything has gone up, costly, everything, and it's just crazy. I don't know what your total travel budget was, but so I don't know what that is, but I just remember from last fall there, after you guys come back from UBCM, I believe the number was 20,000. And I don't know how many went. You guys remember how many went?
Four. We had 4 representatives and staff.
I'm pretty sure, I believe that number was 20,000. And the leftovers, whatever's left over, that just goes back in the surplus, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, it's just, I know you guys are in a tough place because everybody wants to go and stuff like this, and I don't know if you can max out at, you know, say UBCM only, if there's going to be 5 going, well, or switch them around, does everybody have to go every year, or, you know, I don't know. You guys have been there for 4 years, so hard to say. And then I'll move on to the surveillance cameras at Centennial there. Like, how long have those washrooms been there now? Like 3 or 4 years?
COVID? 2021?
21, yeah. There's been a few issues of vandalism, eh? Now, I don't know how much that bill has added up.
On a monthly basis, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
So that bill is adding up quite high. So I think whatever surveillance cameras would cost would be a real good investment. Yeah. Well, I'm in favor of that, and thank you guys again for doing everything you do.
Thank you.
Yes, Junior.
Any other public comments this evening? Okay, then under 15.1, council will give notice to proceed to a closed meeting for consideration of 2 items per section 91J and 92BI1 of the community charter to discuss matters related to 91J, information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, as well as 92B, the consideration of information received and held in confidence relating to negotiations, number 1, between the municipality, provincial government, or the federal government, or both, or between a provincial government and the federal government, or both, and a third party. Moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Mullock. Discussion on closed. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you all. What's in the cup?
It's kind of like the airport rules where if it's abandoned, we're going to destroy it, blow it up.
Does Tom know of the rigmarole?
My eyebrows through the roof. I thought, this is what we needed years ago. But
I
they,
read the first page and I thought, I wish I had a time machine.
I know. But it was disconcerting, the major criticisms of council's interference. And that's what they are.
And there were 2 inaccurate
Okay,
in a few instances.
generally.